Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Rachel Klein, and I will be your presenter for the next 20 minutes. Today is like a part two of what we talked about yesterday with groups and classes and skills and interests. So today we're going to be talking about actually assigning people into groups, classes, or skills and interests. So if you missed the webinar yesterday, it is out on our website at churchwindows.com. The webinar from yesterday is going to talk about how to set up those groups and classes and how to set up skills and interests as well. So if you missed yesterday, check that out on our website at our support center. But like I said, today we're going to be talking about assigning people into those groups and classes or those skills or interests, depending on where those people fit within your church or organization. So today's information is from one of our workbooks. It's from our Membership 201 workbook, and it's pages 11 through 17. So I'm using that as my guide today. So if you have the workbook, want to follow along, feel free to do so. You can also purchase our workbooks out at churchwindows.com. Under the training section, you can buy them out there. I think they're like $12 to buy the download, the PDF download that you print, and then they're $22 if you want to have us print it in a binder ready format and then ship it off to you. But again, I am recording this, so you can watch this at any time at our website, churchwindows.com. Feel free to rewatch this or share it with someone that you think might find this information beneficial. It is just me today. Our support calls are a little high, so Josh isn't joining us today. So feel free to ask a question. If you do have a question, just expand that question section on your GoToWebinar toolbar. Just type in your question. I'm not actually going to read the questions until I'm done presenting or I get myself mixed up. But if something pops into your head, feel free to type it in. But just be patient with me while I finish the material, and then I'll go over it at the end of the webinar. We'll do a little Q&A session then. Also, I do ask that you keep your questions topical. If you have a more specific question to your data or something that's a little off topic that doesn't have to do with groups and classes, I would just ask that you ask that at a later date. So give us a call, shoot us an email to support@churchwindows.com, and that's going to be a better avenue for us to get you an answer if it isn't specific to what we're talking about today. All right. All right, let's go ahead and get jumped in here, the topic at hand. I'm going to go ahead and open up membership. And there's several different ways. There's really 3 different options that the book is going to go over how to assign people into those groups and classes. So we're going to go over each one, and then I'll kind of explain, in my opinion, the benefits to each different way, or what scenario you might be in, and if I think that would be a better situation for you and how to assign people to it. Okay? So midway down page 11, first thing we're going to talk about is going to an individual's record and assigning that one person to a group or class. So I'm in membership here. I'm going to go into people. And it's going to take me to my first record, which is Miss Nina. We're going to use her today for example's sake. Over on the right side here, you have a groups and classes tab, and you have a skills and interests tab. We're going to start with groups and classes, but this is, in my opinion, the easiest way if you have just one person that you need to add to a group. So we'll show you later if you have a bunch of people you need to add. But if it's just one person that's joined a new group that you need to add them to, or if it's, say, someone who just got involved with your church and wants to start being active in different groups or classes, go to their records specifically and then add their groups they're involved with here on the groups and classes tab off to the right. Okay, so at quick glance, we can see that Nina is already involved in adult choir. And here's her date range. She's been involved in adult choir so far. Now, let's say she is joining your Bible study group. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to add her to Bible study. So right above the groups that they're currently in, there's going to be a line that says click here to add a new row. So this is how you're going to add a new group. You can click anywhere within this space. I'm going to go ahead and click under this group box. And as soon as you click in there, it's going to have a down arrow, and it's going to want you to specify what group or class this person is now involved with. So you can scroll through the list, you can type in the code, or you can type in the description of the specific group or class to search on it. So I'm going to put her in Bible study. Soon as I select Bible study, if you jump over here to the next field, it's your start date and your end date. So these are optional. You don't have to put in start date and end dates. The program isn't going to force you to do it. You can also put in a start date and not an end date if you wish, or you can do both. So if we know that Nina started Bible study this month, we can simply put in that start date without having to worry about specifying an end date. That's fine. Now, if you have like a confirmation class that is always going to be, or that starts at a specific time and ends at a specific time, then you can definitely put that start date in if that's something you want to track. Then you could always come back in and run a report on who was involved in confirmation class within this specific time frame. And that's a great way to get a really helpful report on who's been confirmed or who was in confirmation class. Something like that, okay? So there's your end date field. Now let's talk about role. Role is a way for you to indicate what that person's role is within said group or class. So if I hit the little down arrow, you can see the different roles that have been set up. But you can always make more. So anywhere you see a little pencil with a plus or minus sign, that's where you are going to go to edit or create new roles. So if chair, teacher, or youth assistant doesn't apply, then you can always come in here, hit the little pencil. It's going to open up your maintain group role codes, and you can set up a new role. And then these roles are going to be available regardless of what group or class you are looking at. So it's going to be universal for all of them. Okay, so you could have 10 different roles in here if you wanted to. That's fine. You would just put in the code, the description, hit add, and then that new one will pop down below. All right, also, you can leave role blank. You don't have to specify. Comments, this is just an open character field here. You type in whatever you would like to that is specific to this person within this group. Now you have transfer date. Transfer date is going to be where if someone moves on from this group, or say there's a Sunday school class that they've left or moved on to maybe an older group, you could put in the date that they left the group if you like, or they transferred out of the group. Transfer reason, that would be why they left. Feel free to put that in if you wish. Same thing, you can have different codes here as to why they left. Again, hitting that little pencil to go in there and create those new codes that apply to your groups and classes. Okay? Now, if you ever find someone's in a group and you want to delete it, you just want to completely get rid of that group off of their record, over here to the right, you have a little minus sign. This is your delete column. If you decide you just want to delete this group, it's only deleting the group off of this person's record. It's not deleting the group as a whole. If we decide we want to get rid of Bible study on Miss Nina, we would hit the little minus sign there, and that would remove the Bible study line off of her. She'd no longer be involved in that group. All right? All pretty straightforward stuff. Let's go up to skills and interests here next. Again, if your save is highlighted, if it's lit up, make sure you click that. So I'm going to hit my save. Skills and interests operates exactly the same. There's just less fields for you to fill out than there would be for a group or class. So remember, a group or class is an organized thing that someone is involved in. A skill or interest is something, a lot of people like to call it time and talent, spiritual gifts. This is just something someone likes or can be helpful with, okay, or is interested in, if you will. So right now, Miss Nina has two. She has computers and data entry. If we want to add a new code for her, click right here where it says click to add new row, clicking in here, hitting the down arrow, and then I'm going to specify or select what her skill and interest is. Let's do painting. Again, whoops, sorry, clicked the wrong thing. Level could be one of the following: active participant, professional, no longer involved. Specify what works for you, or you can use the little pencil and you can add new ones. I have seen people use like a level 1, level 2, level 3. So that would be like beginner, intermediate, advanced. You can also create that type of leveling process, if you will, by using the pencil. Again, you have a comments field. Feel free to type in whatever you want. Maybe we say she's a professional painting, and in the comments we could say owns her own house painting company or something like that if you want a little bit more information. Over here on the right, you have the little red minus sign. Again, that's your delete if you want to get rid of this skill specifically off of Nina's record. All right, operates very similar. Now let's talk about using the assignment screen to set up people in different groups or classes. I'm going to close, well, I'm going to hit save first. I'll close this. And now I'm going up to groups and skills up at the top, and I'm going into assign groups. This is a really handy window if you have a new group set up and you have a bunch of people that you want to add to it quickly in one place. So instead of jumping through each individual person's record, you can do everything right here on this specific screen. All right, so up at the top, you have your division department category. We talked about this yesterday. This is just kind of like a way of organizing, similar to like a subtotal of the different groups and classes, and you can put together the ones that are similar. So let's go to Sunday school here. And then after I choose Sunday school down here in my groups classes, I'm only going to see my specific Sunday school classes that I added to the Sunday school department. I'm going to go ahead and choose Senior High Youth Fellowship. And as you can see, these are the people who are involved in this Senior High Youth Fellowship. Okay, no start or end dates were used, no roles, and no comments, which is fine. Now, I do want to show you Bible study because Bible study has a little bit of different information. Sorry, that's not in the Sunday school department, so I need to get rid of that. Bible study. So Bible study, as you can see, we have some start dates, we have some end dates. So we can see when people were involved in the Bible study group or class. You do have some options up here to specify what you want to see on this screen. If you only want to see the people who are presently involved in this group or class, we're going to get rid of past and we're going to get rid of future. And then we're simply going to see those people that are presently in that group. If we want to see everybody who was in it in the past, you can simply check the past box, and then it's going to filter out looking at the start dates and the end dates. Okay. You can also do a date range if you want to see everybody that was involved in this group within said time frame. Put your start date and your end date in these boxes up at the top, and then the filter is going to change here down below. Okay. All right, but let's talk about adding some people here to this group or class. So once you have your group or class selected, this field over here on the left is going to become active. This is everybody that you have in your database that isn't checked and active. Quickly, what you can do is jump through the list, highlight them, hit the right facing arrow, and then that person is going to come over here on the list. Okay. There's also a select all. There's an unselect all. You can use your shift or your control button to grab a group of people. Say we want to grab the whole Bernard family. We can hold down shift, click the first person, the last person, and grab everybody. Or we can hold our control key on our keyboard and we can just grab a couple random people and then hit the right facing arrow to add them to the list. Okay. Once they pop in, feel free to put in their start dates if you're using them, end dates, and then fill out the role for those specific people. Once you get them set up here, they are then going to show up. If we go to, say, Stuart Bernard's record, and we go to that groups and skills tab on his record, he will now have Bible study listed there on his group or class. Okay, so this is just another way to quickly add people, a lot of people at a time to a specific group or class. Okay, there is a save down here at the bottom. Make sure you hit that if you want to keep your changes. It will ask you if you want to add a start and end date for newly added people. So you can do this on a mass scale and give everybody we just moved over a new start date and an end date. If you don't want to enter dates, just hit cancel. Okay. Skills and interests works exactly the same way, just less information. If we go to painting, here's everybody we can pick from, and then we can just move those people over to the right. You can also double click them. I'm more of a double clicker. So like if I go to Maria, if I just click on her twice, she pops over to the right. All right, then you can fill in their level and add any comments if you wish. Save down here at the bottom, and you have a print button, so you can get a quick report if you need that. All right, so the last process we are going to talk about is using the find feature in Church Windows to add people to a group or class. So the example in the book, the third method, is when you're working in the grid. So it says, in this exercise, we will assign teenagers from the Senior High Youth Fellowship class to a new group we are setting up for volunteering to help the neighborhood around the church. So what we're going to do, we're going to go in and do a find of everybody that's in one specific group, and then we are on a mass scale going to add all of those people then into this neighborhood cleanup group. All right, so let me show you that process. I'm going to hit find here. That is going to open up my criteria for who I want to find. And I want to find everybody who is in that Senior High Youth Fellowship class. So I'm going to hit Edit People Selection Criteria. I'm going to go to Groups. I'm over here and I'm going to choose my Senior High Youth Fellowship because this is who I want to pool. Check that box, Add to Selection. Here's my criteria. I just want these people, so I'm going to say OK. It's going to reiterate my criteria here. I'm not worried about number 3. I'm leaving that as is because nothing I'm looking for has to do with giving or pledging. I'm just going to hit Find. And then it's going to pull up my grid. And on my grid, it's only going to show me those people who are currently in that Senior High Youth Fellowship class. Now, for these people, I want to move them into that new class that I'm going to set up. Okay? So what I'm going to do now, let's go up to the top right and I'm going to hit this Assign button. I'm going to go to Groups Classes. You can also do this process for skills and interests, but I'm going to go Group Classes. It's going to take me here to that assignment screen that we saw earlier. But I need to set up this new group. I don't have this neighborhood cleanup group in here yet. So now at the top of page 17, if you're following along, I'm going to hit the little green plus. I'm going to put this new group under Fellowship Group. So this is a little bit into what we did yesterday. I'm going to hit Add Group Class. I'm going to title it Neighborhood. Whoops, sorry. Clean up. And I'm going to call it NCU Cleanup. Now that my group's been added, I can see it over here. I'm not going to put in date ranges. I'm going to say it's not going to advance. Say OK. So now my group has been added. I'm going to close out of here. And now if I'm back on my assignment screen, my new group is available. And then everybody by default, because those are the people that pulled up on the grid, are listed here. So I'm going to do a Select All, right facing arrow. And now everybody that was in my Senior High Youth Fellowship group is now part of my neighborhood cleanup group. I'm going to hit Save. Okay. Now I didn't have to grab everybody. You could have just picked 1 or 2 people to move over. But this third process is really handy if you have people that are already in one group. You basically just want to pick all those people up and duplicate them and put them in another group. This is what that process will do. So pretty handy. Okay. All right. That is those 3 different processes I wanted to show you for how you can assign people to a group or class.